Hey guys, welcome back to the Workbench. Today we're going to talk about something that has bothered me and other vintage fan collectors for years. Who made these? I said I was done with props. Since the Workbench is clear, I got the boxes behind me. I didn't feel like it was necessary to have them anymore, but in this case, since we don't actually know what to call these, and I had one here, labeled Calcutta, so let's talk about that. Let's start with Calcutta. Calcutta was the fan division of Corbett Lighting, which was a high-end lighting, still is, I believe, a high-end lighting manufacturer. And apparently, in 1980, they decided they wanted to get into the fan business. And in 1980, they started posting ads seeking sales representatives for their fan division. In 1981, ads show up selling Calcutta fans. And the first ones you see are actually relabeled Codeps. When I say Codeps, I mean the GE Vent import version with the kind of slightly beehive canopy. Same canopy that's seen on some Caraway fans. And we don't actually know who made these. My suspicion is that it was View Fan and that whole consortium, View Fan, New Fan, Golden Fan. But I don't think we actually know. But I've only seen those fans with the, generic GE Vent motor housing and then that specific canopy sold as Codeps. So I refer to them as Codeps. So the first advertisements for Calcutta fans show those Codeps. I've never actually found a Codep labeled Calcutta, so it's possible they just used the art, but more than likely they did actually relabel and sell those fans, and they just, when we've turned up, we assumed they were Codeps. But also in 1981, relabeled Terras show up, and I think we know that Corbett Lighting, Calcutta, relabeled Terra fans with a few minute differences. Mainly the tag on the side and the switch cap is different, and they had a few interesting, what we'll call gallery editions, thanks Casablanca. Those show up in 81. And then this version also shows up in 81, and it's referred to as the Calcutta 2. By 1983, so everything's still the same in 1982. By 1983, the Codep is gone, and they're still offering, under the Calcutta name, the Terra, the relabeled Terra, and this. And then Calcutta fans start going on clearance in 1984, and they're gone by 1986. So that's Calcutta. That doesn't answer the question of who actually made these. Because these fans that look vaguely like a plainer Terra with a normal switch housing, more normal vents, everything about them is similar to a Terra, but just more normal. It's like if a Zephyr and a Terra combined to make the most boring version of the fan. And we as collectors have always referred to these as American Industries, and I think that's just because we've seen some label as American Industries. But let's dig into it. So a search of American Industries yields them this style of fan only being sold as American Industries in 1 year, and that was 1984. But from 1981 through 1984, these are sold as the Great American Fan Company. And if you look up the trademark for the Great American Fan Company, you then see that it is the ceiling fan division of an Arkansas manufacturer called American Industries. So what in fact is correct is that the manufacturing plant that made these was called American Industries. They called their fan division the Great American Fan Company, and then these were relabeled other things. They apparently sold them to a lot of other companies to relabel. Do we call them American Industries? I'd say that's fine. Do we call them Great American Fan Company? I'd say that's fine too. It takes me to mind of Island Fan Company, which was the name of the ceiling fan division of a company called Cascade Engineering. We don't generally call them Cascade Engineering fans because they were labeled Island Fans. But these we've seen labeled as American Industries. We've seen them labeled as Great American Fan Company. We've seen them labeled as Calcutta. And we've seen them labeled as myriad other things. So I do think in this case, the collector instinct to refer to these as American Industries is in fact correct. A couple other details. American Industries patented a globe light kit in 1984 that had a vibration isolator between the switch cap and the light kit, and the idea was that the bulb would last longer if it didn't get the vibration from the motor. The trademark for Great American Fan Company, their ceiling fan division, was filed in '82 after they started making fans, and abandoned in '84. So it seems like '84 was the last year for American Industries / Great American Fan Company. Let's talk about the other relabels. We have seen products from this factory relabeled TPI Corporation. We've seen them relabeled Sunbeam. But Sunbeam also offered a really interesting fan that had a canopy with like a rubber washer in the center, a weird flywheel, the same blade arms as the energy reduction systems, and I believe a 4-speed knob that I've only seen labeled Sunbeam. Now, there's enough similarities between that fan and these, namely the switch housing and the speed control, for me to say that that's probably an American Industries product that was spec'd for Sunbeam, but I don't know that for sure. I have not seen one of those Sunbeams in many, many years, and then the advertisements for them don't give any clue other than Sunbeam. I actually would like to find one of those again if anybody has one for sale or knows of one for sale. Sunbeam relabeled a bunch of fans, though. You'll see Spinners relabeled Sunbeam. You'll see American-made fans relabeled Sunbeam. You'll see American Industries products relabeled Sunbeam, and so on and so forth. So it was just a company that made other things and then relabeled various products for fans. So that's all the information that I have. If you have more information, feel free to leave it in the comments. I would be interested in learning more about that particular Sunbeam that we talked about. There's a 6-blade version of this that I'm curious what the label actually was. I think we can safely say it was made by American Industries, but we don't know if that was sold as the Great American Fan Company or something else. Anything else that you might have that might be pertinent, I'd be very curious to learn. On the other hand, I think we have found out much more about these type of fans than we knew previously. I hope you've enjoyed this video. This video, like all or most of the Workbench series, is sponsored by the Neon Fan Company. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, whatever that means. Thanks for watching.